Right, well, hello. Today we've got a slightly simple episode. This came in the post. I, off camera, at one point, popped the engine in, which doesn't matter. It's not a particularly important thing to show you because it's got to come back out again. I need to make up an exhaust for it. And as it turned out, it's definitely going to have to come out because the engine sits too high on this mount, because this mount was never designed for it. However, I am told by someone who's put one of these in one of these before that supposedly this setup with the 16 valve top and one of the supporting mounts for it should work. Hopefully this will sit a little bit lower because at the moment I can't close the bonnet. So we'll see what happens, shall we? So let's go ahead and unbolt there, a couple of other places, 1, 2, 3, pull the thing out, swap it over to this one. I've got to support the engine underneath with a piece of wood and a jack, and we'll go from there. Righty ho. So, here's the thing. I thought that this would be lower than this. There was nowhere on the internet to get a measurement, so I guessed. As it turns out, this doesn't sit any different to this whatsoever. However, it does bolt on properly, whereas I have to trim this and trim around here to clear some extra bolts. So I will be using this setup regardless. This is 70, 80 quid's worth that I've modified and still has to go into the bin. So that's the end of that. However, even with the new mount, obviously the engine sits too high. And the reason is because the F4R engine block and head are detuned by a plastic slimline small input inlet manifold on the Lagunas, whereas on the Clios the engines sit lower in a different position, more clearance, which allows for this big burly thing here, which when it sits on here, this is a point where it impacts. I did remove, as you'll have seen, remove the coil, thinking that may have given me just enough clearance, but it's not. It still contacts here. So this, unfortunately, is going out the window. So what I'm going to need to do is buy, I believe it's a JMS intake manifold. It sits off the front here. Sadly, that's £1,000 that I didn't anticipate having to spend. So unless someone has got some mad funky idea of what we can do to make this fit properly, that's just the way it's going to be, and we're going to have to run a big fancy inlet manifold, and I might as well go big at that point. Let's chase that 200 horsepower figure, shall we? You know, 197 cams, throttle body, decat exhaust is a given, it's going to happen. And we'll go from there. My Instagram is @ChrisTheCarBuilder. I have a Facebook page that you can message me on that I don't use very much. So yeah, I'm also nearing 3,000 subscribers. I will possibly have broken 3,000 subscribers by the time this video actually comes out, which would be lovely. Apologies that there's not been all that much content, but as you can see, it's just a lot of little finicky jobs that I wanted ideally to sort of do all in a one-er and make a big episode, but life-work balance is not working out, and I'm having to do a lot of little jobs and then dive off back home. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.